What is going on, y'all? YouTube family, it's JF here. I know it's been a minute since I posted, but been going through a few things and just living life. I'm not a everyday poster like you young kids, but just had some thoughts to share with the world today. I think last time I posted was a couple weeks ago, but man, there's a few things I want to talk about, but today I was watching actually something. What was it? Yesterday or maybe a couple of days ago. As I mentioned before, I'm a big basketball fan. Big basketball fan, so I watch a lot of hoops content, games, and analysis and things like that. Was watching Gil's Arena podcast, and they're talking about Kevin Durant scoring over 31,000 points. And salute to Kevin Durant, one of the greatest scorers of all time, a 7-foot genius as far as scoring. Could score from the three, the mid-range, was athletic, pull-up jumper, coming off down screens, pick and roll, became a better playmaker. I hated that he went to Golden State. As I mentioned, I'm a LeBron fan, but he still got 2 Finals MVPs over LeBron, still solidified as a champion when it's all said and done. So MVP in 2014, one of the greatest single seasons I've seen as well. But they were talking about Kevin Durant and his approach to the game and the sacrifices that he's made. And if you're a big basketball fan, or if you're a hoops guy, you know that Kevin Durant's not married. Or even if you don't watch a lot of basketball, if you're just more into celebrities' personal lives. But KD is not married. He doesn't have kids. He's what, 37. And the main reason he's talked about it before in interviews. I think Draymond Green interviewed him after, when they kind of made up. And the main thing with Kevin Durant is he's always been focused on basketball, making the main thing. And he always said that he's always had to tell girls that he's dealt with and other people, if you can't really fall in line, I'm going to be going to the gym, working out and doing my thing. If you can't fall in line with that, as far as me like giving you more time, if that's going to be an issue, then it's probably not going to work out. And he said he wants to have kids, after he retires, so that he can give them the full devotion, full support and love and all that. Whereas, playing in the NBA season takes a lot of dedication, time, sacrifice, effort. So, he's just focused on the main thing. And salute to him, for having that approach. Everyone's different, the greats had, a lot of the all-time greats were married and had kids and still won championships, still won MVP, still became all-time greats. You look at Mike, you look at Magic. Of course, Magic's career shortened because of his lust. Bird, all of them. LeBron, Steph, just to name a few. So you still can do both. And salute to all of those who can still be family men, raise their kids right, and still be legends on the court. Legends on the court, legends off the court. But Gil's Arena was talking about that, and Gilbert was shouting out Kevin Durant for, basically just having that love of the game and just not sacrificing, sacrificing a lot of time with, chasing after hoes and getting with women and having kids and stuff like that, but making the main thing and Brandon Jennings, I don't know if you're familiar with the podcast, but Brandon Jennings had an interesting comment about it, saying that, he always would need a girlfriend, which I understand that, but he said that, KD seems kind of weird, not having kids, almost being 40. And to most of society, it does seem a little weird, like in normal, if you want to say normalized society, you probably, as a man, supposed to have kids mid-20s to mid-30s. That's probably the time. Right after college is when you see a lot of young adults start to get married and have a family and go on from there. But not everyone's the same, and I kind of actually align more with Kevin Durant. I definitely understand where he's coming from. First of all, everyone's different, I can just only speak for myself. Like, I feel like I'm still a child in a sense, like I'm trying my best right now to support myself. So I can only imagine supporting 2, 3 other 4 people, because, as the man, you still got to support the woman as well, especially here in America. And I still have goals to accomplish and things that I want to do. And once you have kids and have a family, you lose that freedom. I think that time then has to be devoted to your creation, and that's what it is, your creation. But in actuality, I really don't believe in having kids. And I know that may seem weird. I don't really give a fuck, As kids, like when you were born, you didn't really have a choice on if you were going to get born or not. You just, you went through your dad's, you were dad's sperm, went to your mom's egg, waited 9 months to incubate and become a human life form, went out the womb, and there you were. As long as your parents didn't decide to have a plan B or an abortion or anything, you were born. You didn't have a choice. And just looking at my life, I can only speak on my life. Just speaking on my life, I wouldn't want to put any kid in this type of environment. And they say, JF, why do you say that? Just look at the world, man. This world is evil. And you deal with a lot of bullshit in this world. You deal with heartbreak, pain, trauma, disappointment, failure, sabotage, betrayal, cheating, lack of motivation, lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. Not all the time is it going to be rosy. And most of the time, to be honest, it's not going to be rosy. Even like for rich kids, those trust fund babies, they're blessed. They may not even have to work if they go to school, whatever, but they still deal with, if it's a guy, maybe he might can't get women the way he wants to, or he might can't do things that his friends can do, or he sees other people doing, and it makes him kind of, lose confidence in that, even after trying. And women, maybe she doesn't look as good as the other women and stuff like that, and she loses self-esteem. So kids have to deal with that. And as most parents are not really qualified to teach their kids or help their kids in navigating this life, parents are mostly qualified to probably provide for their kids, get them food, shelter, clothing, and get them to school and give them an education. That's really not an education. It's just a learning program that helps you navigate through this world. but it's not a real education. And you know, just going through the trauma that I went through from a kid till now, I just feel like it would be unfair for me to bring that upon someone else. I think, in my opinion, I think parents have kids for selfish reasons. Parents have kids. My mom told me she had me so that her grandmother, or that, I'm sorry, that my grandmother, her mom, could see or could have a grandchild and could, you know, live to experience that. Not thinking about my life, not thinking about what's gonna happen with me. And my mom's mom died when I was like 2-3 years old. So she didn't even really get to see me like grow up. She just saw me as a baby. So really, in actuality, it was in vain. But I talked to, when I've worked and stuff like that, and oh yeah, I got a son. He's playing football, and they like to show off their kids like it's property. Parents like to have treat their kids like property, and show it off like it's a toy or an object. And they'll show you the good side, kind of like social media, but they're not going to show you what that kid may be going through. And the parents really don't care. All the generational pain, trauma gets passed down each line. Biologically, we're created to reproduce, as men, pause, but, we get morning wood like just about every morning. Like when the sun goes up, our dick goes up. So it's always like meant for us to like reproduce. Like we're looking for the next pussy to hit. And women get horny too, and they start ovulating, and they say, "Oh, I'm having baby fever." So it's just a sexual urge. And a lot of the kids like me were born out of wedlock. Like we're not planned. You know what I mean? Like especially in today's world. So it's almost like a mistake, and then it's like, oh shit, now we gotta like take care of this thing here. Like, and shout out to parents who, take care and provide. But like if I had a choice on whether I could be here or not be here, I think I was more peaceful not being here and not like being in the void, almost like not being known, not knowing what is what and who is who. I would much rather have that than dealing with all the shit I got to deal with now. I don't want to work 40 hours a week just to live paycheck to paycheck, just to pay for things that are basic necessities. Why would I want to do that? When they say, well, children are a gift from God, but that gift, if it was a gift, why does it deal with so much pain? When I give a gift to someone, I want them to enjoy it and have fun with it, appreciate it and love it, not have to deal with it breaking down or it causing more problems than what they had before. You know what I mean? And I don't know, it's just more of like a logical perspective on it. I just think like maybe my mentality is a little dark, and I'm okay with that. But I mean, this is an evil world that they have to be brought into, like, and it's not like anything's really going to change. Like, this is like a prison planet. Again, we work to exist, basically. We work so that we can eat, so that we can survive. Makes no sense. It makes no sense. Like, why would I want to bring a kid to do that? Like, if I want to bring in a kid here, I want him to like really appreciate the beauty of this world. Not this planet is beautiful. It does have a lot of beautiful creations and landmarks and creatures and things like that. I wanted to have that and not have to, all right, I'm gonna take a week off for a vacation just to relax, and then, all right, now I gotta go back to the grind and the hustle of moving these boxes or selling these products or building these homes or whatever the job is, or driving this truck. I mean, what is it for? It's just for you to make some money, and you ain't making no real money anyway. Most people ain't gonna make 6 figures or $1 million. I mean, and even if you do, most of the time when you get rich, it takes a while for you to get rich, unless you hit it big. Even if you do, let's say, make it to the league or become a superstar in entertainment or something like that, you still got to deal with a lot of bullshit. So your child's going to have gifts and talents and things like that, but once they share it to the world, they still got a lot of shit to deal with. And in my case, you get sabotaged with that. So I almost wish like kids could make the choice for themselves. We don't get that. I didn't ask to be here is what I always say. So that's why I kind of live carefree now. I didn't ask to be here, because I would have just said, I would have declined. Like going to a party, I'm good. There's some good things at the party, but there's more bad things. Like if you had the choice, if God gave you the choice, or right before you were born, they're like, okay, this is what's going to happen. You're going to live on this earth for at least 70 to 80 years. You're going to make some okay money. You'll have a few relationships. You'll have some friends. But you're going to go through some periods where you're broke. You're going to go through some periods where people hate you. You're going to go through periods where, as hard as you try, you keep failing over and 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 over again. You're going to deal with people attacking you. You're going to deal with people betraying you. You're going to deal with trauma. You're going to have fights. You're going to have fights with people who love you. You're going to have fights with people who don't love you. Do you want to accept that? If people knew what life was on the other side before they were born, I think it would be a tough decision. I think there'd still be some people who be like, yeah, I'll take the shot of it, like the lottery. I'm gonna buy this ticket and I may hit the lottery. But majority of people don't hit the lottery. Majority of people buy that ticket and don't win and got to go back to the drawing board. And that's pretty much how life is. You're going to be in debt. You're going to have bad credit. You're going to have to find a way to fix your credit. Then when you fix your credit, the moment you fix that, you're going to have people trying to attack your credit. You're going to have people trying to hack into your devices. Like, it's always something, bro. The moment something goes good in life, something breaks down. You got to fix it. I just got me a new car, got me a new job, new place. Everything's good. I'm about to, I've met this girl. Man, she's beautiful. I think, she's great, blah, 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 blah. And then, oh man, then you got to deal with the male-female dynamic, and boom, then your life goes to shit. Like, yeah, it's cool. Like, I appreciate like all the music I've listened to, all the basketball I've looked at, all the sports and stuff, the people I've met, all the great things I've experienced. I've traveled and stuff like that. So it's not to say that it's 100% bad, but it's more bad than good. And I just feel like I'm actually doing a good thing and not bringing another person to deal with that, because even if I did bring it on mistake, and I try to shelter my kid from all of the bullshit, tell him to watch out for this, watch out for that, the kid's still going to live his life, and he's still gonna have to go through some tough times. That's just what it is. Even with all the shelter protection, stability. Look at Bronny James. He's had a great life, right? Lives with LeBron, or raised by LeBron, child of LeBron. Made it to the NBA, McDonald's All-American, played in Division I basketball, had tons of money, even as a 18, 19-year-old, and now as a 21-year-old. But he still has to deal with constant hate every day. Bronny James is trash. Bronny James is trash. He's garbage. Why is he in the league? He shouldn't even be allowed to play. Da 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 da. And that, no matter how much money you make, you see that constantly, or you see that on social media, or get that brought up to you, you could lose confidence. And that's something that, I'm sure like his dad helps him with that, and you have guidance on that, but it's still not easy. No matter what, you still got to go through it on your one too. So, there's you can't really put your kids in a bubble, and I just feel like it's unfair. Because not every kid is going to be able to be strong enough to deal with that, Shout out to those who are, and you give them the tools for that, but some kids are not going to be able to do that. And then some kids, you can't control how they get born either. Some kids are born with mental conditions or physical conditions, disabilities and things like that. You can't control that, So that's still unfair, you know what I mean? Like, that kid didn't ask for that. Like, I'm sure Siamese twins or kids with like Down syndrome or autism, things like that, if they had a choice, they probably like, man, I wouldn't want to. Or if they're born blind or deaf, I probably don't want to be here. You know what I mean? Like, if I want to be here, I at least want to have all my physical traits and tools and things like that, so I can manage in life. I don't know. Like I said, it's probably a dark theory or dark thoughts that I have, but damned if you do, damned if you don't. Hold on. But I'm about to head out. Just my thoughts, man. It's kind of what I've been thinking over time. And also, I had someone ask me that I have kids. And, I don't want to deter anyone from having kids. Like, if that's something that you've always wanted, shout out to you. Hopefully, you're strong enough and have the mental strength to be able to deal with kids and the ability to raise them as well, because they're going to disappoint you as well. Kids will disappoint you. So, if you want to have kids, just make sure you pick the right person to mate with, and, try to build a successful family as much as possible. And that's really a message to, all the men out there. So, but yeah, until then, hope you guys have a wonderful day. And until then, JF out. Peace.